The copier jams again. Maya Carter hears it before the shout. Hey. You. Temp. The word lands hard. She turns slowly. The office smells like burnt coffee and toner. Phones ring. Chairs scrape. Nobody looks up. Mark Donnelly stands by the glass office, arms crossed, eyes already narrowed. He doesn't smile. You been touching the finance printer? He asks. Maya keeps her voice steady. I was asked to print onboarding files. Mark laughs once. Sharp. Not friendly. Funny how things break when people don't know their place. The room goes quiet. Too quiet. Maya feels heat in her chest but doesn't move. She's learned that stillness scares people more than shouting. I followed the instructions, she says. Mark steps closer. Too close. Listen, he says, lowering his voice. You're here to help. Not think. Not fix. And definitely not mess with systems you don't understand. A coworker shifts in their seat. Another stares at their screen. Mark points at her badge. Temp. You screw up again, he says, I make one call and you're gone. No explanation. No record. That's how this works. Maya swallows. She looks at the jammed printer. Then at Mark. Understood, she says. Mark smirks. Turns away. Maya reaches for the printer tray. Inside, tucked between forms, is a document she was never meant to see. Her name is on it. Not as a temp. As something else entirely. And footsteps are already coming back toward her. Maya stands at the copier, hands folded, eyes calm. The machine beeps like it's nervous. She can feel Mark before she sees him. His presence presses into the room. Heavy. Certain. You done breaking company equipment, he says. Head stay down. Screens glow brighter. Maya turns. It was already jammed. Mark tilts his head. Studies her face. That so? Yes. A pause. Too long. Well, he says, around here, things work when people follow rules. Maya nods once. She reaches for the tray. Mark steps in. Blocks her. I'll handle it. She pulls her hand back. I was assigned. He cuts her off. Assigned to listen. A few people glance over. Nobody speaks. Mark clears the jam with rough fingers. Papers spill out. He snatches them up. Then stops. His eyes narrow. He looks at the page again. What's this? He asks. Maya leans slightly. She sees her name. A title beneath it. Not temp. Her stomach tightens. I don't know, she says carefully. Mark folds the paper. Slides it into his pocket. HR messes up all the time, he says. Not your concern. He leans closer. You here to earn goodwill, he whispers. Not questions. Maya meets his eyes. She sees irritation. And something else. Fear, maybe. Understood, she says. Mark steps back. Smiles thin. Good. He walks away. Maya exhales slowly. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. An email notification. Subject, placement review, internal. She doesn't open it. Not yet. Across the room, a coworker watches her. Curious. Worried. Maya straightens the papers on the copier. Her badge swings against her chest. Temp. She grips it between her fingers. The lie feels heavier now. And Mark is already watching her again. Maya learns the new rule fast. Mark doesn't raise his voice anymore. He doesn't have to. It starts with meetings. The calendar invite pops up late. 5 minutes before start time. She reaches the conference room just as the door closes. Mark's voice leaks through the glass. Let's get started. Maya knocks once. Mark looks up. Slowly. Like she interrupted something important. This meeting is for full-time staff, he says. I'm on the agenda, Maya replies. Mark checks his laptop. Pretends to search. No, you're not. Silence behind him. Chairs. Papers. Go back to your desk, he says. I'll fill you in later. The door closes. Maya stands there, staring at her reflection in the glass. Calm face. Tight eyes. She walks back without a word. At her desk, work appears. Busy work. Data entry. Old files. Tasks no one else wants. She finishes fast. Too fast. Mark notices. He stops by her desk. Doesn't sit. You don't need to rush, he says. Accuracy matters more than speed. I double-checked, Maya says. I'll decide that. He takes the stack. Flips through it. No errors. His jaw tightens. Next time, he says, wait for review before submitting. He walks off with the files. An hour later, the same files come back. Red marks everywhere. Comments that don't make sense. Unclear. Rework. Follow standard process. Maya rereads them. Slow. This isn't correction. It's control. At lunch, she sits alone again. 2 temps sit across the room. White. Younger. Mark laughs with them. Loud. Friendly. You guys settling in okay? He asks. They nod. Good. We like initiative here. Maya looks down at her food. The difference is sharp. Clean. After lunch, HR sends a message. Quick check-in. Swing by if you have questions. Maya goes. The HR office smells like lavender. Soft chairs. Smiles. Everything okay so far? The HR rep asks. Yes, Maya says. The word feels thin. The HR rep nods anyway. Type something. If there's an issue, she says, we like to keep things professional. Maya meets her eyes. What does that mean? It means, the rep says gently, we don't want misunderstandings. Maya leaves. Professional distance. That's the phrase Mark uses later. He stands by her desk, arms crossed. You don't need to be everywhere, he says. Keep your distance. Observe. I was hired to assist the department, Maya says. And you are, Mark replies. From where I place you. He lowers his voice. Don't confuse access with authority. Maya feels it then. The threat. Not loud. Not obvious. Precise. She nods. Again. Later that afternoon, she overhears something. 2 managers by the printer. Audit flagged it last quarter, one whispers. Yeah, but Mark said it's handled. What about exposure? Not our call. Maya freezes. She looks at the files on her screen. Numbers. Dates. Something doesn't line up. She clicks deeper. A compliance form. Incomplete. Signed off anyway. Her chest tightens. Footsteps. Mark appears behind her. What are you looking at? She turns slowly. Minimizes the screen. Assigned files. He stares. Long. You're drifting, he says. That's not smart. I'm working, she replies. He leans down, close enough she smells his cologne. Temps who drift, he says, don't last. A coworker watches from 2 desks away. Says nothing. Mark straightens. Send me everything you touch, he adds. Before anyone else sees it. He walks off. Maya sits still. Her hands tremble. Just a little. She steadies them under the desk. Her phone buzzes again. Another email. From, staffing liaison subject, please confirm scope. She opens it this time. One line. Are you observing or intervening? Maya stares at the screen. Across the office, Mark laughs with someone. Relaxed. Confident. She locks her phone. Looks back at the files. The distance he wants. It's already gone. And if she steps forward now, there will be consequences. Her screen flickers. A new meeting invite appears. Subject, performance review, mandatory. Time, end of day. Organizer, Mark Donnelly. Maya exhales slowly. She knows this isn't about performance. It's about pressure. And this time, there will be witnesses. The meeting room is too cold. Maya notices it right away. The air hums. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. The table is long, polished, empty, except for Mark. He doesn't stand when she enters. Sit, he says. She does. He slides a folder across the table. Slow. Deliberate. Let's talk performance. Maya opens it. Printed emails. Red highlights. Notes in the margins. Missed context. Overstepped role. Delayed submission. None of it matches reality. I'd like specifics, Maya says. Mark leans back. Folds his arms. This isn't a debate. I'm asking for clarity. He smiles thinly. Temps don't usually push back. Maya keeps her voice level. I completed every task assigned. And yet, Mark says, tapping the folder, there are concerns. He stands now. Walks behind her chair. You're efficient, he says. Smart, even. But smart people forget where they stand. She feels him behind her. Too close. This company runs on trust, he continues. And trust requires knowing your place. Maya turns her head slightly. Is this about the compliance files? Mark stops walking. Silence stretches. Then he laughs. Soft. So you were looking. I noticed inconsistencies, Maya says. That's part of my job. No, Mark snaps. His tone hardens. Your job is what I say it is. He moves back to the table. You don't have clearance, he says. You don't have authority. And you definitely don't have protection. Maya's chest tightens. Protection from what? She asks. Mark's eyes lock on hers. From being replaced. The word lands heavy. He sits again. I can end your placement today, he says. One call. No appeal. Maya swallows. On what grounds? Fit, he replies. Cultural fit. There it is. A knock interrupts them. The door opens. A senior analyst pokes her head in. Mark? Sorry. Quick question about the quarterly numbers. Mark's face changes instantly. Warm. Easy. Of course, he says. Give me 2 minutes. The analyst glances at Maya. Hesitates. Everything okay? She asks. Mark answers before Maya can. Just coaching, he says. We invest in our temps. The door closes. Mark's smile vanishes. You see how this works, he says. I speak. People believe. Maya looks down at the folder again. Notices something new. A date. Yesterday. A task she wasn't assigned until this morning. This error, she says slowly, wasn't mine. Mark shrugs. It is now. Her heart pounds. You're blaming me, she says. I'm documenting, he corrects. Big difference. He leans forward. You want to survive here? He asks. Stay invisible. Maya lifts her eyes. And if I don't? Mark exhales. Like he's tired of explaining. Then you leave, he says. Like the others. She thinks of the empty desks. The temps who vanished. Any questions? He asks. Maya closes the folder. No, she says. Mark nods. Satisfied. Good. You can go. She stands. Walks out. The office feels different now. Heavier. Eyes flick toward her. Then away. At her desk, she finds an email already waiting. From HR subject, performance concern logged. Her hands shake. She steadies them on the desk. A coworker approaches quietly. The one who watched before. You okay? He whispers. Maya nods. Fine. He hesitates. Lowers his voice. He did this to another temp last year, he says. Blamed her for a reporting issue. What happened? Maya asks. She left, he says. Cried in the stairwell. Maya closes her eyes for a second. When she opens them, her screen refreshes. A new file appears in the shared drive. Q4 Compliance Review, Final. Her name is listed as last editor. Her breath catches. She opens it. The incomplete form. The one she flagged. Now marked approved. Signed. By Mark. Her pulse spikes. Footsteps approach. Mark stands beside her desk again. You'll send that to finance, he says. Now. Maya looks up at him. If I do, she says, it exposes the company. Mark's jaw tightens. If you don't, he says quietly, you're done. The office holds its breath. Maya looks at the file. Then at Mark. And for the first time, she doesn't answer. The room doesn't move. Maya can hear her own breathing. Slow. Careful. Mark's hand rests on the back of her chair. Casual. Possessive. Well, he asks. Around them, keyboards pause. Someone coughs. No one turns fully around. Maya looks at the file on her screen. The approved stamp glows green. Official. Final. If this goes out, she says, it's false. Mark smiles. Not kind. Welcome to corporate life. She swivels her chair just enough to face him. I won't send it. His hand tightens on the chair. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I'm making it accurate. That's not your role. It's everyone's role, Maya says. If there's risk. Mark cuts her off. Louder now. Send. The file. Heads turn. The silence breaks in pieces. Maya stands. Slowly. The movement draws eyes. Real eyes this time. Watching. Measuring. I'm not comfortable signing off on this, she says, steady. It violates compliance. Mark's smile disappears. This is insubordination. I'm a temp, Maya replies. I don't have the authority to approve or deny. Mark laughs sharply. You're sitting at my desk, he says. Using my systems. Doing my work. He gestures around the office. You think anyone here is going to back you? No one speaks. A coworker looks down. Another pretends to type. Mark leans closer. Send it, he says, quieter. Or pack up. Maya's chest burns. She feels it, the weight of every face not meeting hers. The cost of all that silence. I need HR present, she says. Mark straightens. HR already knows, he says. They logged your concern. He steps back. You want to make this public, he asks. Fine. He claps once. Everyone, he says loudly. Quick pause. The room freezes. Mark points at Maya. We have a temp here, he says, who refuses to follow direction. Murmurs ripple. She thinks she understands our processes better than leadership. A few heads nod. Not agreement. Fear. Maya feels her pulse in her throat. I flagged a risk, she says. That's all. Mark scoffs. You flagged it after snooping. I was assigned the files. By mistake, he snaps. And now you're threatening timelines. He looks around. This is what happens when we blur boundaries. The words land. Heavy. Loaded. A woman near the window shifts in her seat. That's not fair, she says softly. The room goes still. Mark turns. Excuse me. The woman swallows. She didn't do anything wrong. Mark smiles. Slow. Thank you for your input, he says. We'll discuss your performance later. The woman sinks back. Maya feels a strange mix of gratitude and guilt. Mark looks back at her. Last chance, he says. Maya looks at the file. Then she clicks Save As. Renames it. Q4 Compliance Review, Draft. She stands. I'm escalating this, she says. Mark's face hardens. Then you're finished here. He reaches for her badge. Yanks it free. The plastic snaps against her chest. Security, he calls out. A guard appears at the end of the floor. Uncomfortable. Young. Escort her out, Mark says. She's no longer authorized. The guard hesitates. Maya picks up her bag. She looks around the room one last time. Some eyes meet hers now. Regret. Fear. Relief it's not them. She walks. The elevator ride is silent. The guard avoids her reflection. I'm sorry, he mutters. It's okay, Maya says. The doors open. She steps into the lobby. Her phone vibrates. An email. New. From, Legal Oversight Subject, Urgent, Do Not Disengage. Her breath catches. She opens it. One line. We need you inside for the review. She stops walking. The guard looks back. You good? He asks. Maya looks at the building. Glass. Steel. Power. Upstairs, Mark is already rewriting the story. She types fast. I was removed. 3 dots appear. Then a reply. That wasn't authorized. Maya's heart pounds. Another message follows. Stay where you are. She looks up. Through the glass walls, she sees Mark in the lobby now. Talking to someone on his phone. Animated. Confident. He spots her. His eyes narrow. He hangs up. Starts walking toward her. Fast. Maya's phone buzzes again. Do not leave. Mark is almost there. Security watches. Unsure. Maya stands still. For the first time, the silence shifts. And everyone can feel it. Mark stops 6 feet from her. Not close enough to grab. Close enough to control. You're not authorized to be here, he says. Maya holds her phone at her side. Her thumb rests on the screen. I was told to wait. Told by who? Mark asks. His voice is calm. Dangerous. Legal oversight, she says. The words hit him like a door closing. His eyes flick to the security desk. Back to her. That's not necessary, he says. There's been a misunderstanding. Then it can be cleared up, Maya replies. With witnesses. Mark smiles. Tight. You like drama, he says. That's your problem. He steps closer. Lowers his voice. You think some emails protect you, he asks. I've been here 15 years. Maya doesn't answer. Behind Mark, the elevator dings. 2 people step out. One from HR. One from legal. They stop when they see them. Mark, the legal counsel says. We need a word. Mark exhales through his nose. Forces a laugh. Of course, he says. Just handling a personnel issue. The HR rep looks at Maya. Then at Mark. Why was she escorted out, she asks. Mark doesn't miss a beat. Refused instruction. Breach of protocol. Maya lifts her phone. I documented everything, she says. Mark's head snaps toward her. You recorded me. I documented, she repeats. Emails. Task logs. File histories. Time stamps. The legal counsel's expression changes. May I see that? He asks. Maya unlocks her phone. Hands it over. Mark stiffens. This is inappropriate, he says. She's a temp. The legal counsel scrolls. Slower now. These files, he says. They show edits before approval. Maya nods. The compliance form was incomplete. Mark shakes his head. She misunderstood. Then why was her name added as last editor, the counsel asks. Mark opens his mouth. Closes it. The HR rep looks uncomfortable. Mark, she says, did you reassign responsibility? Mark straightens. I delegated. Without consent, the HR rep asks. Within my authority, Mark snaps. The legal counsel hands the phone back to Maya. Do you have more? He asks. Maya nods. Reaches into her bag. A small notebook. Worn. She opens it. Dates. Times. Quotes. Mark's jaw tightens. You've been planning this, he says. I've been paying attention, Maya replies. The HR rep swallows. We'll need to review this upstairs, she says. Mark laughs once. Review what? He asks. She's gone. The legal counsel looks at him. That wasn't authorized, he says. Removal requires review. Mark's face reddens. She was disruptive, he says. She created risk. Maya looks at him. I tried to stop it, she says. Silence drops. A few employees gather nearby. Watching. Phones come out. Subtle. Careful. Mark notices. Back to work, he snaps. No one moves. The legal counsel clears his throat. Mark, he says, we need access to your system. Mark stiffens. For what? For preservation, the counsel replies. Effective immediately. HR nods. IT has been notified. Mark's breathing changes. This is ridiculous, he says. You're overreacting. The counsel doesn't blink. Then you have nothing to worry about. Mark looks at Maya. This time, there's no confidence left. Who are you? He asks. Maya meets his gaze. Someone you underestimated. The elevator dings again. 2 IT staff step out. Mark Donnelly, one asks. We need your credentials. Mark laughs. Loud. Too loud. You can't be serious. HR steps closer. We are. Mark looks around. At the employees. At Maya. At the legal counsel. The room has shifted. He hands over his badge. Hard. Happy now? He asks Maya. She doesn't answer. The legal counsel gestures toward the elevators. Ms. Carter, he says. Please come upstairs. Mark spins. She doesn't get to. She does, the counsel says. She already did. They step into the elevator. The doors close. Mark stands alone in the lobby. Upstairs, the conference room is bigger. Quieter. Maya sits at the table. Legal. HR. 2 executives. The notebook lies open. Walk us through it, the counsel says. Maya inhales. She explains. The edits. The pressure. The threats. She keeps her voice steady. No drama. Just facts. The executives exchange looks. This isn't isolated, one says. There were flags before. The HR rep nods. Complaints. Quiet ones. Maya's chest tightens. How many? She asks. Enough, the executive says. A pause. Why didn't you leave? The counsel asks. Maya thinks. Because if I did, she says, it would happen again. Silence. The executive leans back. We're suspending Mark pending investigation, he says. Maya exhales. Then. A knock. The door opens. Mark steps in. No smile now. No mask. You can't do this, he says. She's lying. The room freezes. Mark points at Maya. She doesn't even belong here. The executive looks at him. Actually, he says, that's what we're about to discuss. Maya's phone vibrates on the table. A new message appears. From, staffing liaison subject, identity confirmation ready. Maya looks up. The room leans in. And Mark realizes, too late, that the ground under him is about to give way. The room holds its breath. Mark stands near the door, jaw tight, eyes fixed on Maya. The executive closest to him speaks first. "Mark," he says calmly, "you were asked to wait outside." Mark doesn't move. "She doesn't belong in this room," he says. "She's a temp." Maya feels every eye slide to her. The legal counsel folds his hands. "We'll determine that." Mark scoffs. "Determine what?" "Her agency sent her." "That's it." Maya's phone vibrates again. She doesn't pick it up. The HR director clears her throat. "Mark, this conversation is no longer yours to control." Mark laughs, sharp and brittle. "You're really doing this?" he asks. "Over her?" The executive's voice hardens. "We're doing this because of you." Silence lands heavy. Mark looks around. "You're taking her word over mine." The legal counsel turns his screen toward the table. "We're taking records," he says. "And patterns." He clicks. A document appears. Employee concerns, restricted. Dates. Names. Redacted. Mark's face drains. "These are anonymous," he says quickly. "Anyone could have written them." "True," the counsel replies. "But not everyone left the same trail." He scrolls. Email threads. Access logs. Approvals pushed through late at night. Mark swallows. "You authorized compliance sign-off without review," the executive says. "I delegated," Mark snaps. "To a temp," HR says. "Without consent." Mark's eyes flick to Maya again. "She manipulated you," he says. "She went looking for problems." Maya finally speaks. "I went where the work led." Mark shakes his head. "You think you're smarter than everyone here?" "I think systems matter," Maya replies. Mark points at her. "She's hiding something." The legal counsel nods once. "That's possible," he says. Mark straightens, hopeful. "Which is why," the counsel continues, "we verified her placement." He gestures to Maya. "Miss Carter." She unlocks her phone. The message waits. She slides the phone across the table. The executive reads it. Slowly. Then looks up. "Carter and Company. Talent Solutions," he says. Mark frowns. "So?" The executive turns the screen toward him. "Principal Consultant, Maya Carter." Mark stares. "That's not real," he says. The HR director inhales sharply. "Carter and Company is one of our highest-rated external partners," she says. "They audit placement ethics." Mark laughs. Loud. Forced. "This is a setup." Maya's voice stays level. "I rotate through placements," she says. "As a temp. To observe culture." Mark steps forward. "You lied," he says. "I didn't," Maya replies. "You assumed." The executive leans back. "You were evaluating us," he says to Maya. "Yes," she says. Mark's hands shake. "You can't judge me," he snaps. "You don't work here." Maya meets his eyes. "That's the point." The legal counsel closes his laptop. "Mark Donnelly," he says, "your authority is suspended pending full review." Mark's breath stutters. "You don't have that power." The executive nods. "I do." Mark turns to HR. "You're going to let this happen?" HR looks away. "We should have acted sooner," she says. Mark laughs again. "But there's nothing left in it." "This is unbelievable," he mutters. He looks at Maya one last time. You think this makes you powerful? Maya doesn't answer right away. She feels the weight of the room. The past weeks. The silence she carried. No, she says. It makes me responsible. Mark scoffs. For what? For what happens next? The executive stands. Mark, he says, please surrender your access and leave the building. Mark's face hardens. You're making a mistake. Security appears at the door. 2 guards now. The same young one from before avoids Maya's eyes. Mark looks around. Realizes it's over. He drops his badge on the table. It slides. Stops near Maya's notebook. The guard opens the door. Mark hesitates. Then turns back. You'll regret this, he says to Maya. She watches him carefully. Maybe, she says. But not today. Mark leaves. The door closes. No one speaks for a moment. Then the executive exhales. We have a problem, he says. And it's bigger than him. He looks at Maya. What you experienced, he continues, isn't isolated. Maya nods. That's why I stayed. The legal counsel leans forward. We need your full report, he says. And your recommendation. Maya's chest tightens. My recommendation, she asks. Yes, the executive says. You've seen more than we have. Maya thinks of the woman who spoke up. The coworker who warned her. The temps who left. Start with accountability, she says. Then transparency. HR nods slowly. And the staff, she asks. Maya hesitates. Some of them will need protection, she says. They're scared. The executive nods. We can do that. Maya exhales. For the first time, the pressure eases. Her phone vibrates once more. A final message from the liaison. Proceed. We're backing you. Maya looks around the room. Power has shifted. But the cost is still there. Outside, Mark's footsteps fade down the hallway. Inside, the real work begins. And this time, everyone knows who answers to who. The conference room fills slowly. Not the same people as before. More suits. Fewer smiles. Maya sits at the far end of the table. Notebook closed now. Hands folded. Still. The screen at the front lights up. Internal review, ethics and compliance. The executive clears his throat. Thank you for coming, he says. This review is now formal. Eyes move to Maya. Not curious anymore. Careful. The legal counsel stands. We're here because of verified misconduct, he says. Abuse of authority. Retaliation. Compliance manipulation. A murmur spreads. A senior director raises a hand. This started with a temp, he asks. Yes, the counsel replies. It ended with evidence. The screen changes. Emails. Timestamps. Approval chains. Mark's name appears again and again. Someone exhales sharply. That's not policy, a woman says. No, the counsel agrees. It's culture. Maya feels the word land. Culture. The executive gestures toward her. Ms. Carter, he says, please state your role for the record. Maya stands. I'm the principal consultant at Carter & Company. Talent Solutions, she says. I was placed here to assess temp integration and ethical risk. The room goes still. Someone whispers, she owns it. Maya continues. I enter organizations as a temp, she says. Because power behaves differently when it thinks no one important is watching. Eyes drop. Pens pause. A director leans forward. So Mark didn't know, he says. No, Maya replies. He made assumptions. The legal counsel clicks again. A chart appears. Exit data, temporary staff. Red arrows. Short tenures. Repeated patterns. This department has the highest attrition, the counsel says. And the highest number of informal complaints. A man near the window shakes his head. We missed this. Because people were quiet, Maya says. All eyes turn to her. They were afraid, she adds. And silence protected the wrong person. A pause. The HR director clears her throat. We failed, she says. We treated concerns as noise. Maya nods once. That's common, she says. That's why audits exist. The executive stands. Effective immediately, he says, Mark Donnelly is terminated. No reaction. Just gravity. And this department, he continues, will be placed under external review. He looks at Maya. Led by Carter and company. The room shifts. Maya inhales. I accept, she says. A director raises a concern. There will be fallout, he says. Press. Legal exposure. The executive nods. There should be, he says. Maya watches faces harden. Decisions forming. The legal counsel closes his folder. One more thing, he says. There are witnesses. The door opens. The woman who spoke up steps in. The coworker who warned Maya. Two others. They look nervous. Brave. We'll protect them, the executive says. Full non-retaliation. The woman exhales. Relief floods her face. Maya feels it in her chest. The cost shifting. A phone buzzes on the table. The executive checks it. Mark is requesting a statement, he says. Maya stiffens. He wants to claim misunderstanding, the executive continues. Bias training failure. Maya meets his eyes. He knew what he was doing, she says. He counted on no one stopping him. The executive nods. We won't soften it. The meeting ends quietly. No applause. No victory. Just resolve. In the hallway, the coworker approaches Maya. Thank you, he says. For staying. Maya smiles faintly. It shouldn't take this, she says. But it did, he replies. Later, alone in the conference room, Maya sits again. The adrenaline fades. Her hands shake now. Finally aloud. She thinks of every moment she swallowed words. Every time she was made small. Justice doesn't erase that. The legal counsel returns. You okay? He asks. Maya nods. Then shakes her head. Both, she says. He smiles gently. That's usually how it goes. Her phone buzzes. A news alert draft. Internal for now. Company announces leadership termination following ethics review. Maya closes it. Outside the window, the city hums. Unchanged. The executive re-enters. We're ready to go public, he says. When you are. Maya stands. Give them the truth, she says. Not the spin. He nods. As she leaves the building, cameras aren't there yet. But they will be. And when they are, the story won't be about a temp. It will be about a system that thought it was invisible. And learned it wasn't. The story breaks on a Tuesday. Not with sirens or shouting. With a headline. Maya reads it on her phone while standing in line for coffee. Company terminates senior manager after ethics review. No name in the title. Not yet. People around her scroll without knowing she's part of it. The barista calls her order. Thanks, Maya says, voice steady. Inside, she isn't. The office changes fast. Posters appear about inclusion. Emails about listening sessions. New reporting tools. Some are sincere. Some are scared. Maya sits in meetings now as herself. Not a temp. Not invisible. Executives listen carefully. Take notes. Ask the right questions. It doesn't erase what happened. But it shifts who holds the room. HR schedules private conversations with former temps. One by one, stories come out. Similar words. Similar fear. Maya feels the weight of them all. At night, she dreams of printers jamming. Of badges snapping. Of silence. She wakes with her jaw tight. The woman who spoke up sends her a message. I didn't think anyone would protect us. Maya replies. You protected yourselves. Mark's name finally appears. Not in headlines. In footnotes. Former employee. No apology. No interview. He releases a statement through a lawyer. Claims misunderstanding. Stress. Miscommunication. Maya reads it once. Then deletes it. The company settles quietly with several former temps. Policy changes become permanent. External audits scheduled yearly. Not perfect. But real. On her last day on site, Maya walks the floor again. People meet her eyes now. Some smile. Some look away. A few thank her. She doesn't linger. Outside, the building looks the same. Glass. Steel. Confidence. She knows better. Power hides in habits. That's where she'll keep looking. At home, she opens her notebook. The worn one. She flips to the first page. Adds a line. Stayed. Her phone buzzes. A new request. Another placement. Another company. Same role. Temp. She exhales. Before she leaves, she sends one email. To the coworker who warned her. If you ever need a reference. He replies instantly. I already used you. Maya smiles. Small. Tired. Real. That night, the city hums outside her window. Justice didn't come with music. It came with meetings. Paper trails. Long days. And a cost. She touches the faint mark on her chest where the badge snapped. It's gone. The memory isn't. She knows some people will call this a win. Others will call it trouble. She calls it necessary. Tomorrow, she will walk into another office. Another badge. Another set of eyes deciding her value. They won't know who she is. And that's the point. Because power reveals itself most clearly when it thinks no one important is watching. Fade out.